Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal match preview for the big one against Newcastle United. Can we make it 6 Premier League wins in a row? We really need to do that, obviously, after the disappointment against FC Porto the other day in the Champions League. And obviously, Liverpool beating Luton, Man City beating Brentford in midweek. Before we play this game, Man City will have already already played Bournemouth. If they win that one, obviously Liverpool and Man City, that would mean 3 extra points for them. Liverpool are already on 60 right now. They already played their weekend game, so they're 5 points ahead of us. And if Man City win that one, they also extend their lead between them and us. Now, I usually prefer when we play fast and then put pressure on these teams, but recently they've been playing fast and we've had to bounce back late. And now we're going to have to do that, and you're going to have to wait until Saturday, deep in the night, 8 p.m. UK time, to play this game. Now, a lot to talk about. Obviously, I was very disappointed. I was disappointed by the way we lost against FC Porto. I did not like the performance because we didn't really attack them. But when it gets to the 90th minute, you're like, listen, it's 0-0. Let's just get them at our place. And as long as you win it, it's 2 games. As long as you win it over 108 minutes, that is what matters. But conceding like that in the last minute, that was devastating. But I'm still confident for that the second leg. But you're not here to talk about the Champions League. Before then, we have to play Newcastle at home. We have to play against Sheffield away, and we have to play against Brentford at home. Now, Newcastle. I've been looking forward to this game, obviously, since November for obvious reasons. Let's first talk about Newcastle before we talk about Arsenal and everything. Now, Newcastle games, oh my goodness, Newcastle games are really good to watch. Like in terms of goals, if you want entertainment, at the beginning of the season, it was a bit of Tottenham and Brighton, but Newcastle score goals. Newcastle, their games are very entertaining. And that makes me think, which kind of game are we going to get this weekend? Now, from the bat, we are going to get one of these 3 games. Either one, they completely changed what they've been doing recently in terms of open play or end-to-end games, and they just come to a place and park the bus like they did last season and just, dirty tactics and get a 0-0. Now, I usually don't mind teams who do dirty tactics. If you can do that and win the game, that's up to you. If you want to use a corner, as long as you win the game, that is what matters. So if they deploy that, that could be the first way the game could go. They could just come and decide, you know what, let's try and get a 0-0. They did that last season, we didn't score, and this season as well, we didn't score against them. So the last 3 games, we've not scored in 2 of them. So they can decide to shut us out. Number 2, it is that we play an open game and they give us a lot of chances, and it ends up being a frustrating game like it was against West Ham back in December, where we have 30 shots and we still don't score, and the game ends up being 0-0 or 1-1, and it ends up being a frustrating one. Or if they we take our chances and they give us as many chances as they've been given the opponents recently, and we end up scoring another 4 or 5 like we have been doing recently. So it can go either way. So listen to the number of the results recently. The Newcastle results recently are absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Last game they played against Bournemouth, 2-2 draw. They scored later on in that one. They beat Nottingham Forest 3-2. I watched the Nottingham Forest one. I watched the Luton one as well. They drew 4-4. I watched the one that they beat Aston Villa as well. They won it 3-1. Very, very good win. Not easy to win at Aston Villa. And they lost to Man City 3-2. Watched that one as well. Another open game. Counter-attack. Isaac this side. Bernardo Silva this side. And they also beat, they lost to Liverpool 4-2. So as you can see, 4-2. 3-2. Even before that, they had lost to Nottingham 3-1. So there's a lot of goals in the Newcastle games. 3-2, 4-2, 4-4, 3-2, 2-2, so many goals. In terms of shots, let me read for you something I've just written down. The last game against Nottingham, they allowed Nottingham Forest 13 shots and 3 of them on target. They also allowed Bournemouth 12 shots, 7 of them on target. They allowed Luton 11 shots, 8 of them on target. They allowed Aston Villa 12 shots, 6 of them on target. Before that, they allowed Man City 27 shots, 11 of them on target. And before that, they allowed Liverpool 34 shots and 15 of them on target. Now, those are crazy numbers. Usually, if a team plays defensive, they'll allow you maybe a maximum of 12 shots and maybe 4 or 5 on target maximum. But these numbers are crazy. If they allow us 34 shots like they did against Liverpool and we have 15 on target and we do take our chances, if you take your chances and the goalkeeper is not on form like Dubravka was in that game, you can even get 10 goals. That can happen. But I have a feeling they're not going to play like that. I don't know. I have a feeling they're not going to play like allow us to have that many shots. Hopefully they do, because I'd be more confident for that. But they're also a team that can score goals, even if Isaac is injured, even if Wilson is not fit for the game, all that. They have a lot of ways to score goals. They've scored 53 goals this season. So Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal have scored the most, and then Newcastle is the fourth one. They do score goals. They have a lot of ways of scoring goals. Even if Wilson and Isaac are not there, Gordon can run with the ball and dribble past the play and score, like I saw him doing against Chelsea. They can have a cross to Murphy and for him to score. They can have Bruno Guimaraes running into the box and scoring a goal. They can score from corners with Shaula scoring goals as well. I mean, dare me to say it, they can even score and the ball has gone out. They have so many ways of scoring. I had to get that one in, of course. They have a lot of ways of scoring, different ways of scoring. So you have to also defend against them, even if they don't have Isaac and Wilson. Obviously, this game is even more important now, not only because you're fighting for the title, not only because we lost to FC Porto the other day, but because of what happened in November. That game really hurt Arsenal fans the way it happened. I still feel like that game should have been a 0-0 draw. I don't think we'd have scored in that game, but I don't think that goal should have been allowed, and all that should have been a 0-0 draw. Kind of the same way I feel about the FC Porto game. I think that was a 0-0 game. I don't think they really deserved to win. They didn't really pepper us with shots. They also had like 3 shots on target in that game, or 2 of them, or something like that. So I feel like those games should have been a 0-0 draw. So we have something to prove. The last time that happened to us against West Ham, we came back the second time when we beat them 6-0. I'm hoping this will be the same against Newcastle. If the game is as open as that, hopefully it is, then let's see what happens. But for Arsenal, as I said, we're coming off a back of a very, very good Premier League form since the Dubai break. The Champions League one was a bit of a downer, but we've been able to score a lot of goals in the Premier League. And on top of that, you're able to keep clean sheets. That is always welcome. If you keep a clean sheet against Newcastle, that is a very, very good result, because they do have players, even as I said, even with injuries, they still have players who can score against you. I know Newcastle fans, at the moment, they don't rate Almiron, but he can turn up and whip one from outside the box against us. Gordon has that pace. Murphy has that pace. Who knows? They can score from corner kicks with shine. Those people ban. I know Newcastle fans don't like him. He might end up scoring a set piece against us. So you have to give them that respect in terms of that. I don't think they are Burnley or anything like that. We have to give them that respect. Against Burnley, throughout the game, I never felt like we were going to concede a goal. West Ham, they do have quality players. I did feel like maybe they can get one or something. And that's the same way I feel about Newcastle. They can obviously get a goal. So you have to take them seriously. You have to start that game quick and get a goal and try and kill their confidence, because they have a chance of scoring a goal as well. But I'm hoping we keep on playing the way we've been playing. So for us, as I said, injuries, Jesus is, no one knows where Jesus is. No one knows where Tomiyasu is. Zinchenko looks like he might not play in this one. Partey as well looks like he's not ready. Our next game after Newcastle on Saturday is the other Monday against Sheffield United. So you're not going to play for 9 days. So we can just go full blast on this one without having to like remove a player, because we have a midweek game and all that. We have to go full throttle. We have to keep on adding the goals, because again, since Liverpool, the last 2 games, they've scored 4 against Luton, scored 4 against Brentford as well. They now have a goal difference of 38. We have a goal difference of 36. We need to go past that again this week, and then hopefully improve it as well next week against Sheffield, improve it even further. So I am confident for the game. I was confident for the FC Porto game. We approach it differently. Maybe you should have tried to get a goal and all, but I'm hoping that in the second leg we can get the job done. At home this season, yes, we lost to West Ham, but at home we've been really good. We've beaten Man City, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Man United, Brighton, Wolves, all those guys at home. So I am confident for this one. So which kind of lineup would I go for against Newcastle United? So defensively, we don't have too many choices because no one knows where Zinchenko is. No one knows where Tomiyasu is. I don't expect them to be back, even if they're back, maybe on the bench. So this is just what we have to go for. This is what I'd go for. Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, and Kivia would be the defense as always, as it has been the last few games. I think I do think Kivia has been great. I don't even think he was that bad against FC Porto. Matter of fact, I don't even think any of those defenders were bad against FC Porto. We were 30 seconds away from keeping a clean sheet in that game. We didn't do anything going forward, but we also are about to keep FC Porto to 1-0 as well at their place. So I don't think the defenders were bad at all in that game. So I'd keep the back 4 as it is. Midfield is where I'd make a change. Now, Newcastle, as we saw in the game we played against them early in the season, which was a very feisty one. Bruno Guimaraes was, almost punching Jorginho. Havertz was tackling. Was it Longstaff or something? It's going to be physical. So I want, for two reasons, I'm going to change one player in this team. One, I need someone on the bench that I can bring off the bench in the second half. We didn't really have that a lot against FC Porto. And number two, I just want that physical battle against them in midfield, and also just the whole game in general. So in my midfield, I'm going to bring back Jorginho for this one. He played against Newcastle in the first leg. He got involved with Bruno Guimaraes several times. I'm going to start him in this one to help Declan Rice and Odegaard in midfield. Jorginho is also a good control of the game. Is also a good pass of the ball. So I'd keep that as my midfield. So that means I've either dropped Havertz or Trossard. Who have I dropped? Well, Saka is on the right side, Martinelli is on the left side, Havertz is up front for me. Now, Havertz against Newcastle, I definitely would start him. Number one, those defenders with Sharp, Botman, and in the midfield with Bruno Guimaraes and all those guys, physical, they'd want a battle. I think Havertz can handle that better than Trossard. He also has a history in Newcastle in his Chelsea days and also now. And on top of that, the aerial ability and everything against these Newcastle defenders. And also just to have a different option from the bench in Trossard. We didn't have anyone to bring off the bench against Trossard. I mean, we did, but it doesn't seem like I really trusted them for those games, like the likes of Nelson and Ketchy. So for this particular game, in case things don't work out, I need someone on the bench to be able to look at like, hey, this player scored like 4 goals since the Dubai break, bring him on. So going to the bench now, Ramsdale, Cedric, Walters, El Neni, Trossard, Vieira, Smith-Rowe, Ketchy, and Nelson. So as you can see, if things don't work out there, you can turn to, Trossard, Smith-Rowe, and all those guys to come on. If you want to strike, you can bring on Ketchy. If the game is comfortable, you can always bring in Nelson for Saka. You can always bring in Vieira, hoping we can see him sometime soon. We have Sheffield United soon. Maybe that's when you're going to see Vieira and Smith-Rowe. Defensively, we don't really have too many options on the bench apart from Walters and Cedric. So we have to keep this for going, and hopefully Tomiyasu and Zinchenko are back very soon. So I don't expect it to be, obviously you have to give Newcastle some respect. They were in the Champions League. They did really, really well against the likes of PSG and Dortmund and all those guys. I know they've been conceding goals and all that. And last season they did well. But I'm not approaching this game like, this we're supposed to smash them like we did against Burnley. But my prediction for the game, I'm still going to go for us to score plenty of goals. I'm going to go for Arsenal 3, Newcastle 1. I'm going to go for 3-1 Arsenal win, hoping that is more than that, hoping if they allow us 34 shots, we don't score 2 goals or 3 goals only. If the opponent allows it at 4 shots and 15 on target, we should be getting another 4 or 5. And if you can do that to them, again, that would feel so good. The West Ham 6-0 against West Ham felt really good. If you can do the same thing against Newcastle, it might even be better because of what happened in November. But I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I'm going to go for Saka to score, Odegaard to score, and I'm going to go for, let's go for Havertz to score. Why not? So let's see how the game goes. Let me know a prediction. Let me know what your starting lineup would be. Would you keep Trossard in the team? Would you remove Havertz despite all the physical aspects of this game and all that? Would you even, there's also an option of removing Martinelli and playing Trossard on that left side and having Martinelli from the bench. Would you start Jorginho in midfield? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on